Hey, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Got a really cool amplifier for you to check out today from Synergy. We're looking at the SYN-20IR. Now this is a 20-watt tube amp with a whole bunch of extras. It really can serve as a centerpiece for a studio rig, for a live rig. It's a fantastic amp. Let's dig in and see what all it can do for you. Synergy amplification takes a unique approach to guitar amplifiers. We have the SYN-20IR here, but the SYN-20IR really is a chassis that accepts these modules. And each of these modules has been developed to recreate the tone and the feel of a particular amplifier. So for example, the one I have here is the 2C. Now these are tube modules. You can see there's two preamp tubes inside there, and they offer 2 channels each. There's a wide range of modules available, everything from clean California style, we'll say, amplifiers, all the way up to super high gain diesels and Bogners and more. I've got 3 of these modules here today that you'll be hearing throughout this video. I've got the 2C here. I've also got the OS, which is a D-style module, if you will. And then we have the Z-Rec, which is a super cool module from Dr. Z. As you'll hear, these modules sound completely different. They're all going in the same chassis. I really didn't change the controls on the chassis. What you're hearing is the difference among the modules as I'm playing them. But now let's take a look at the amp itself, at the SYN-20IR, and what all it does, because the modules are where everything starts. This is where our tone is generated, but this amplifier gives us so much more. For our demo today, I'm playing a Friedman Vintage T in a Sweetwater exclusive purple color. It's a gorgeous guitar. It sounds fantastic and it's so comfortable to play. And I think it gives a good example of what this amplifier really can do. Now the amplifier itself has a built-in clean channel. Now, this is a Fender style or California clean style, if you will, tone. It has a volume control and also has its own tone control as well. Very responsive. Nice clean tone. You can crank it way up and it still stays really clean. You can start to get a little hair on it, but it's really designed to be a neutral clean channel for you. On this side of the amplifier, we have a reactance control. Now that changes several different parameters behind the scenes there. It's changing depth, it's changing resonance, a little bit of presence in there as well. So if we move that control, you got a fair amount of shaping control right there, even with just the clean channel, which again is designed to be pretty neutral for you. We've got a master volume control. On the back panel, we have a MIDI input. Now that can accept a 7-pin foot switch from Synergy for changing among the 3 channels, as we'll see. You can also control this amplifier through MIDI. You can access presets and more. There is an effects loop on the back. During my playing examples, you're hearing a Walrus audio delay in that effects loop, so that's available for all your time-based effects or anything that you want to put back there. And then we have multiple speaker outputs to match to your speaker cabinet. Today, I'm playing through a Friedman Runt cabinet that is loaded with a creamback, and I'm finding that this speaker works really well with a wide variety of different modules. Now when we get to the modules, things get really interesting. I've got the Z-Rec module from Dr. Z loaded here, so we can go from our clean channel. With a foot switch, I'll change to the first channel on the Z-Rec. You can see the green light came on there. Totally different tone there because we're using the front end from the Z-Rec now rather than the built-in clean channel. So it's got that characteristic Dr. Z tone, that mid-range, that bite. Now, of course, we have tone control there for all of that. We've got our shaping switches and so on right on the module itself. We can jump to the second channel, which I've got cranked up for a little extra gain. It's a great sounding module. Now we can shape that further using the reactance control. And we also can access 3 different structure settings. Now this structure control is one that we've seen on Friedman amplifiers, and now it's available here on the SYN-20IR. We've been listening to structure number 1 so far. If we go to structure 2, it has a different presence to it. The upper mid-range, the bottom end is shaped a little differently. We've got a little different gain structure as well. And now structure 3, hitting that switch again. That's a little fatter structure, a little bit more lower mid-range to it, and again, a little different gain and feel as well. Now all these structure settings and all these controls are available with any module that you put in here, whether you're going with the T Deluxe or whether you're going with a Bogner or whether you're going with a diesel or a PV or whatever the module might be. You can shape them so much using these different controls. It's super versatile. But we're not done here. We also have built-in IR capabilities, so you can run this directly into your DAW or directly into your front-of-house mixer. If you unplug the speaker, a load is engaged, and then you can use the amp silently. There's also a headphone out on the back panel that you can use for silent practice with those IRs. The SYN-20IR comes out of the box loaded with 4 different IRs. These are some of Dave Friedman's favorites. The first one is a Soldano 4x12 loaded with vintage 30s. Our second IR is also a Soldano 4x12, but it has a little bit of different tone. It's a 4x12B. It has a little more bottom end, a little bit more top end, a little more scooped. Works great for high gain tones. Our third preloaded IR is a British 4x12, also loaded with vintage 30s, made from Baltic birch. It's a nice even cabinet that's going to work well for a wide variety of different modules. The fourth IR that comes preloaded into the SYN-20IR is a closed back 1x12. Now this is loaded with a high wattage redback speaker, so it's going to give you a very neutral tone. It's not going to break up the way that a lower wattage speaker would, so it's going to be very versatile as well. Now you're not limited to just those 4 IRs. The SYN-20IR comes with companion software, and using that software you can load your own IRs in. A variety of additional IRs come with the amp as well that you can experiment with, so you have access to an incredible range of sounds. Now again, all of this can be controlled via MIDI. You can save presets and recall them all. So if you're using, for example, a loop switcher on your pedal board to bring pedals in and out, you could also be using that loop switcher's MIDI out to change things on the amplifier as well. It's a tremendously versatile amplifier. The other thing I want to point out is that at 20 watts, this amplifier is capable of handling everything from quiet practice at home all the way up to gigs with a moderate volume drummer, if you will. It's a loud little amplifier. For 20 watts, it really kicks out volume. So this amplifier is going to cover so much ground for you. I'm super impressed with it. So if you're looking for an amplifier that can cover a tremendous range of tones, you want something different, just pop a module out, pop another module back in. You definitely want to check out the SYN-20IR. Plenty of power for low to moderate volume gigs, great for practicing at home, and an ideal studio tone, whether you mic up a cabinet or you take those IRs direct out. Covers so much ground, and it's a perfect hub for a guitar rig. Now, if you want complete information about the SYN-20IR or any of Synergy's products, including all their modules, head over to sweetwater.com, or better yet, reach out to your Sweetwater sales engineer. They've spent time with all these modules and these amps, and they can give you all the details on what's going to work best for your particular style and the tones that you're after. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.